In the endless pursuit of my one true love, which is money, I can't help but acknowledge cash. Cash is king. And what really saddens me about cash is it is very slowly but surely becoming obsolete, which is a very, very sad and very, very disheartening to me. I love cash. Now, I've made an episode previously about the penny. The penny being taken out of, printing. Like they stopped or minting. Is it minting pennies? They've stopped minting pennies. And in that episode, I basically said, who gives a shit? Who cares? The penny has been useless for decades, if not centuries, and it costs more to produce. Who cares? But cash is always one of those things where I always want to have the option to pay with cash. Cash is great because it's almost easier than a credit card. It is. It sounds weird, but if you get close to the exact amount, there's nothing easier and there's nothing better than pulling out a single bill, putting it on the table, or handing it to the cashier and saying, keep the change. Keep the change. You don't need a receipt. You don't need to pick up, your pennies and nickels and all that. You just put it on the counter and you say, keep the change. And you take your item and you walk out. Easy, quick, clean, done. That is how commerce is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this, you pull out your credit card and you tap it and it doesn't go through. So you tap it somewhere else and then it finally goes through. That's bullshit. It's not supposed to be pulling out a credit card and inserting into the slot. Because a lot of the times those like payment things, the payment machines have been like messed with, like a thief will come, or oftentimes just the cashier will just put their own like fake machine on top of it that just steals all your card data. So there's that. And I don't think in my lifetime I have ever swiped a credit card. I don't think. I've swiped like gift cards and stuff, but not a credit card. If you swipe in 2026, that's a problem. But what really saddens me is that cash is slowly, and I mean very, very slowly, almost to where you don't notice it, becoming less used. Now, obviously, today no one uses cash, but it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that. And some places have even stopped taking cash, which is incredibly sad and incredibly disheartening because I've just always liked having that option. Now, me personally, I pay 80% of the time with card. But, you get cash that builds up and people treat cash as if it isn't money anymore. They think of it as, oh, well, it's not in my bank account, so I can just go out and blow it. It's not money, So meaning, you have $500 in your bank account, but you find $50, you find $50 in cash lying around. Well, rather than thinking, oh, hey, I'm poor, I only have $500 in my bank account, they go, oh, well, this $50 isn't part of that 500, so I'll just go spend it. I'll just go blow it. And I know people who are like that. Cash is money and it should be treated as such. It should be accepted everywhere. It should be encouraged. Anytime you pay with a credit card, the store or whatever pays a processing fee. It's like 2.5%, 3%. There isn't that with cash. So I feel like a lot of these places should encourage paying in cash. Also, cash is just cooler. Cash is just cooler. Like all these nerds with Apple Pay. I use Apple Pay sometimes, but the worst thing, and I mean the worst thing you can do when paying is to use your Apple Watch to pay. Guys, that is cringe. That is cringe. I'm sure it was very, very cool 10 years ago. I'm sure it was very, very cool when Apple Watches and Apple Pay were new. But now, that little smirk they give you and then they put their wrist up to the terminal and it beeps. Are you kidding me? Do you have no self-respect? You're paying with your wrist. Are we kidding, guys? Pull out your paper, slam it onto the table, and say, keep the change. Boom. That is aura. Don't pull out your phone. Don't pull out your metal American Express card. Slap your dick on the table and pay in all pennies. That's what you should do. You have a $300 purchase at the grocery store, pull out a ton of rolls of pennies and unroll them right in front of the cashier. Just dump them all on the desk. And then say, keep the change, and walk out. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. Keep the change. You pay in coins, you pay in bills, doesn't matter. Keep the change. And if your balance is, $14 and, 30 cents, eat that 70 cents, guys. Hand them a 10 and hand them a 5. Or hand them a 20 and just take the 5. Don't do this, guys. Don't use these Apple Pay things. The more payment platforms we start to accept and start to use, the more obsolete cash becomes. We should start a movement to where everybody, just without warning, just only pays in cash. No more credit cards. No more. Like a cash remembrance day or something, where one whole day everyone just pays in cash. It'd be beautiful. It'd be so beautiful, so amazing. Like one last swan song before everything moves digital and the government can just shut down your bank account without any warning, and you're just locked out of all your funds, and then you starve in the streets with your wife and your kids and your family, your parents, everyone you know and love is killed right in front of you. But before that happens, enjoy that George Washington. Enjoy the Abraham Lincoln. Thomas Jefferson, my favorite, Ben Franklin. I love me a Benny. So think on that. Think on that. Maybe use your cash for more than just going to the strip club or going to the casino. Use something, buy something memorable with it. Treat it like it's worth more than just a normal credit card transaction. That's what it should be. Cash should be treated like it's more, because it is more. It's beautiful, and it's American culture. American dollar bills. Dollar bills. So I appreciate listening to this plea. This plea. I appreciate you listening to this, and I will see you tomorrow.